Where Swahili culture meets the white coral sands, it's the mix for a perfect family holiday. Inviting waters and the warm hospitality have attracted people for generations.
Yeah, I'm loving the beach so much. I'm also coming here like every day, every time I've got some time, I go to the beach.
It's well known that Mombasa is the sort of place where you can buy a holiday companion for a month, a week, a day, or even for a couple of hours. Mombasa has long been a place of trade. For centuries, slaves from East and Central Africa would leave here bound for foreign shores. But today, human trafficking has changed. There are some estimates that in this city, there are as many as 40,000 child prostitutes. A few streets back from the beach, away from the resorts and pubs, women and men make life-changing decisions. They're desperately poor, and many sell their bodies to the tourists who come here. Some of the prostitutes are as young as 8 and 10.
I'll call it a crisis, and it's an increasing crisis in the sense that, one, it's not even being addressed, it's not even being seen.
Paul Adoch is the head of Trace Kenya. It's an aid agency working to return trafficked children to their families and eradicate child prostitution.
I'm appalled. I'm unhappy about it. That's why we're doing something about it too. One, we're making communities aware that relationship with a Mzungu or with any other person as such does not necessarily pull you out of poverty.
Some of the children involved are from Kisauni. It's just 5 kilometres from the centre of Mombasa. There are a variety of reasons why they become sex workers. Some are forced into prostitution by criminals, others do it without their parents' knowledge. Some are even pimped by relatives, including their parents. In communities like Kisauni, mothers worry about their daughters.
I've been asking around and I was told my daughter had been out and she'd started taking drugs. She's very young, just 14.
Grace Magome's teenage daughters are sneaking out at night. She doesn't know where they go, but they come home with money. The girls tell us about an underage friend who sold herself to a Mzungu, a white man.
Yes, he was abusing her because the Mzungu sleep with that girl. And that girl is too small, but the Mzungu is big. He's abusing that girl.
It's local knowledge that the epicentre of child prostitution is a place called Mtwapa. It's difficult to film here because of the sensitivity of the subject. Perhaps what's most telling is that you do see tourists, but very few of them are women. Most of the visitors are older men, wazee in Swahili.
I know the place, I know the beach very well. I've been here for some time. Now, they were there from the white main country. Come here looking for little girls under 12.
This one is going to everybody in the house.
When the sun sets, the pubs and the hotels come alive. Prostitution is illegal in Kenya, but sex workers keep the bars full. Most of the clientele are older white men, many with younger partners.
I was a school dropout and there was no work to do. My friends invited me to join them. I thought it was cool.
She recalls an occasion when she and her friends were forced into group sex by white tourists.
My friends and I were there with them, and after that they refused to pay us. They said that we were naughty and that sort of thing. They did not want virgins, they only wanted anal sex.
Many now suspect pedophiles tell each other just how easy it is to break the law in Kenya.
I think there is a network, and I think they believe that you can get sex with children. And I also believe that quite a number of these travelers, the Mzungu, they come here specifically for sex, or for sex tourism.
The illegal trade has links to other countries in East and Central Africa. Some children are abducted from their homes and trafficked from as far away as Somalia, Eritrea and the Democratic Republic of Congo. When they arrive on the coast, innocence is stolen and dreams are robbed by predators from abroad.
They are not relaxing at some beach or enjoying wildlife. They are specifically deep in the communities, in poverty-stricken areas, looking for sex, nothing else.
And that is the problem at its most basic level, poverty. And for as long as that lasts, so too will child prostitution.
Its beaches are the stuff holiday brochures are made of, and tourism is a major money spinner for one of the world's poorest countries. But Kenya's tropical paradise hides a dark secret within. We've been on a harrowing journey, from nightclubs where European men pick up 12-year-old Kenyan girls, to this orphanage where children as young as 6 have found sanctuary after sexual abuse by foreign tourists. A journey into a world of cruelty and desperation, a world we could scarcely have imagined.
They sort of feel that they can do anything they like when they come to Kenya and get away with it.
Mombasa after midnight, and the city's clubs are filling with white male European tourists ogling and fondling teenage girls. The teenagers wear high heels or pay a bribe at the door to get in. The ultimate prize is a mzungu or white man who will pay for sex 5 times what a Kenyan labourer can earn in a day. The author of the UNICEF study now reckons her findings are an underestimate.
The study pretty strongly demonstrated that it was approximately 30% of the population of children between the ages of 12 to 18 who were engaged in some form of sex work.
That's an astonishingly high figure. How many thousands of people are we talking about?
We're talking about 15 to 20,000 children. The researchers that I worked with when I conducted the study all tell me now that they have a lot of visual evidence of increasing numbers of younger and younger children.
Can you tell me how many of you have had sex with foreigners on the beach? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of you. 4 of the 10 of you. Almost half.
It was Fatuma's story which affected us the most. She's 13 now, but she says she was driven by hunger to sell herself to 2 European tourists named Andre and Thomas at the age of 11.
The first one, I got it 1,000.
1,000 shillings, so that's £10.
Yeah.
And the second man?
The second man, that day I didn't get so many. He gave me 500.
He gave you?
500.
500, so £5.
Yes, very sad because my body is the temple of God.
Your body is the temple of God?
Yes.
With her mother's permission, Fatuma showed me the beach where she sold her body to the 2 white men. She told me about her routine on Sundays. In the morning she goes to church. In the afternoon, her family's poverty forces her here to look for more foreigners. And her mother claims she's powerless to stop her.
Kuhusu Fatuma anarandaranda kwa sababu ya kihali ya kimapenzi sina, chakula sina nyumbani, hivi ni mtoto wa shule nimekwama amefukuzwa ndo anazunguka.
What makes what I've just heard even more shocking is that it isn't even a secret. It's widely accepted in this village that children are sold to foreign tourists for sex. And what's happening here is happening up and down the Kenyan coast, with thousands of children, possibly tens of thousands of children, involved.
There are pockets of resistance, like this girls' football team set up by a Kenyan charity. Its motto, "My God is my strength, not my white man." But the school teacher in charge admits that 16 of the 35 girls she trained last year are now back on the beaches, selling themselves.
They take the child of Kenya just because we are poor. They misuse the child. Personally, it hurts me. I feel pain. Any foreigner found sleeping with a Kenyan child should be taken back to his country and never be given allowance to come to our country again.
All along the coast we'd heard that children abused by tourists are now younger than ever. But we wanted evidence. So we went to Mombasa's only public clinic specialising in sexual violence.
And the various loopholes we're currently having with evidence collection, we don't have even evidence collection kits. So I'd say it's very rare for a perpetrator to be jailed. Very, very rare.
In June, Kenyans near this beach took the law into their own hands, hacking down beach huts after a European tourist was accused of molesting 9-year-olds inside. A local campaigner told me that even if the tourist was caught, he could bribe the police to drop the case. Ours was a journey of painful contrasts, the tropical beauty of the holiday resorts jarring with the desperation of the children nearby. And as we continued our investigation, those contrasts became ever more disturbing. We found Henry, a 7-year-old molested by a white man in exchange for pocket money, new clothes and a bag of flour. His father wants the police to bring charges, but the police have told the parents that the tourist has fled to Europe and may never return. And in a mother's proud face, we saw a family struggling to keep its dignity.
Na kama hatuwezi kujua atakuja lini, na kama hatakuja itabaki hivyo kwa sababu hatuwezi kujua atakuja lini. Ikiwa mimi kama wakati nilikuwa na pesa, ingechukuliwa tight, lakini kwa sababu sina kitu, kwa sababu inachukuliwa hivi hivi. Inasemekana mpaka aende arudi.
The authorities know there's a problem. Look at the billboards. They hope a new tourist police force will be patrolling the beaches by the end of this year. But this is a country which fears that any attack on its reputation and innocent tourists, the vast majority, could be driven away.
We are going to take strict action on defaulters or criminals who are taking advantage of young children. As a parent, as well as a country, we cannot afford abuse of our children. At the same time, if it is publicized, blown out of proportion, it will destroy the same effort of eradication of poverty by destroying tourism.
But parents and charities say the time has come for the truth to be told. This church orphanage is sheltering a 6-year-old girl who has told her carers about her visits to hotel rooms and being filmed for pornographic videos. And the charity worker who rescued her says the abuse probably began at the age of 3.
The doctor said she has some whip-like lashes on her back, and she had a vaginal injury as well, and there's some sodomy as well.
And she's just 6 years old?
And she's just 6 years old.
And as far as we know, do we know who carried this out? Who committed this crime?
She says it was, Mzungus.
White men.
White men, yeah. Laws are going to get stricter, and they can't go back to their families pretending not to be pedophiles anymore. And we're going to wind up in jail eventually.
This little girl is now safe, no longer refusing to eat, no longer expecting to stay up all night. But up and down this 300-mile coastline, Kenyan children are suffering, their stories still untold. Jonathan Rugman, Channel 4 News, Mombasa.